Hi everyone, we are live. A little bit late, but that's that guy's fault. That guy's fault. No, the other way around. That guy's fault.
I have a toddler that I'm home watching alone. Right now, she's at her nap time. I've had to feed her breakfast, lunch, and then put her down for her nap 30 minutes early with a movie just because of you people. You people.
And what movie are we watching?
Brave. She selected Brave.
Oh, love Brave. Love Brave.
I don't think I've ever seen it with her. So I'm curious. And now I'm sure I'll get my 10th opportunity to watch that movie with her eventually, if it makes the cut.
Full disclosure, big animated movie fan over here. Pixar, you name it, all of them. Love those. Love those. I highly recommend Tangled if you haven't seen it. Tangled's a great movie.
Yes, I thought Tangled was going to be the selection, but then she went with Brave, which
Brave
I don't
Brave.
think she's ever seen.
Okay, very good. So good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, October 21st, the day before the Week 7 showdown against the Philadelphia Eagles. And as I pointed out to our good friend Tanner over here, yes, it's a big game. They're all big games. What we're talking about this week in terms of not necessarily throwing everything at this game is there's 10 games left after this one, and it is an NFC contest. But yes, absolutely, you want to win every single solitary game. That's the nature of the business. But the idea of like sacrificing potentially down the line to make sure you have your full lineup against the Eagles is not smart business, in my very humble opinion.
I said what I said about this game, and people got all hot and bothered.
Doesn't take much, actually, a lot of times.
Yeah. There are certain games that just by the nature of the physicality and the stakes and the stage, it's going to be a body bag game, and you're going to lose players. And
that's harsh.
It is it not true? Tell me I'm lying. Tell me where the lie is.
I don't know. Buffalo lost 2 players at Jacksonville. Would you have against Jacksonville in London? Would you have called that a body bag game?
Yeah, because it was 2 playoff teams. Jacksonville
Bad turf. That was also played a part in it.
Why can't I look at me? I just edit stream. Sorry, folks. I'm having technical difficulties in terms of being able to navigate the chat. Anyway, okay. No, I think that there are certain games. Yeah, Buffalo lost players against
Jacksonville. They lost Matt Milano. They lost Tre'Davious White, who popped an Achilles. He had nothing to do being a physical game. He was just backpedaling and popped when the Achilles. That's got nothing to do with a body bag game, quote unquote.
No. But it doesn't. It's the physicality that game requires and brings and demands. Now, they're just certain. I'm sorry, but I didn't look at maybe for the opponents. Miami's last 2 home games. Yeah, playing in Miami is a hostile environment. It's probably the best home field advantage in the entire NFL, especially in September and October. It's hot. Everybody knows.
And it's hot, and it's hotter for the opponent on their sideline than it is for the
my God. I took a picture the last home game of the shade, how literally of the shade. It was like close to halftime. It was in the second quarter. And literally everything in the stadium was shaded except for the visiting stands, except for the visiting team.
Sideline, yeah.
And I was just like, man, that's ruthless. That is, and I don't think they strategically did it. Okay.
Oh, it's a hell of a coincidence that if they didn't, though, isn't it?
It's one.
The network show like the temperature gauges on each sideline, like in those September home games, and the difference is like sometimes 25 degrees. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's like
yeah. I can't. I'm sorry. I grew up in Miami Gardens. I grew up around where that stadium is. And my dad, in fact, was an electrician that helped like do some of the electrical work inside that stadium. My first job was at Joe Robbie Stadium. I still call it Joe Robbie Stadium. I have a hard time believing when Joe Robbie was doing it, he was saying, yeah, strategically structure the stadium so that the sun can hit this angle at 2:00 and between 2 and 3. And then even when they put the canopy on, come on, man. I know Tom Garfinkel's a genius, but come on, man. Come on, man.
It's a hell of a coincidence.
It is one hell of a coincidence. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing to watch. And it is I think at some point NFL teams will say, if we're gonna have to be on the other sideline. Like this is not fair. This is or you're gonna have to put a shade above cover up a little bit more of that canopy because this is just not fair.
No, and I know there are Dolphin fans who have pushed back against this idea, and they were like, well, it's the same if you're playing in Buffalo, it's in the cold. Yeah, except the difference is the weather conditions at every other stadium that particular night are the same, or that particular day are the same for both teams.
Yes.
Whether you're accustomed to them or not, but they're the same. When there's a home game in September at Hard Rock Stadium, the conditions are not the same for either team, and it's not a level playing field if we're going to be honest about it. And one last thing. If anybody, for those of you who don't live in South Florida, come down here in August or September and spend 3 hours in the sun, and then come back and talk to me and see what that feels like. It is relentless and it saps you bad.
Yeah, and that's why you see teams like they're tapping out in the third quarter, middle of the third quarter. They're like, I'm done. I'm good. Like, just bring in a reserve.
Yeah. Let's address Marco's question. We discussed this earlier during the week in the podcast. We'll then thank you, Marco.
Hold on, before we get to that, I do want to make an announcement. Where's the thing that tells me how many people are watching live? Goodness gracious, since
274 so far. We got to get that number up. Tell your friends.
Nah, let's keep it intimate.
Always a contrarian. Okay, fine. Let's keep it intimate.
No, let's tell everybody. Okay.
Make up your mind, dude.
I do want to say something. As you know, if you have been paying attention to what we're doing, we have ramped up a little bit of the podcast, the visuals of it. We are working to get better. I know that we do not have our work on the audio, and if you've paid attention to us daily, we've addressed this. We worked very hard to get out of our audio contract, and for valid reasons, because you're not going to pay me a penny per listen for something that I know you're making a lot of money off. And I think anybody who knows what streaming sites or music artists go through, you work for, and we are artists. We are artists. You put out the work, and you want to be fairly compensated for it. And right now, we do not feel like we are fairly compensated for the audio component of it. We are having conversations right now with a couple of people. We're close to getting a deal. When we do get a deal, we'll probably be back on the audio stream. But for now, we will only be on YouTube at the present moment. Also, for everybody who is contributed, G Firm, Marco, Ryan Smith, Andrew, we and we see you guys every single week, and we're very thankful and we're very appreciative of your support. You are the guys who are helping us step this up and take this to the next level. And this is your podcast too. For today, for all of those who contribute today, and we tremendously appreciate it, and we thank you. It will be going to Peculiar GFX, which is the team that is helping us ramp up our visuals, get to that next stage, get the production higher level, also helping us put together clips. They're a graphics and a production company. They're working with us pro bono right now, and we would like to compensate them, and they want to just be part of what we're doing because they're big Dolphin fans. And they're helping us, and we want to help. We want to help them by blessing them. So anybody who contributes today to this live stream, that will be our blessing, all of it to Mark and his team at Peculiar GFX. So with that said, let's get into some of these questions. And
all I'll add to that is what Omar said.
Marco wants to know about will Chase Claypool be active?
You said no, I said yes. Or you said
I said no, and then I realized. Just hear me out. I initially said no, and then I thought about it with Alec Ingold being listed as questionable. Since when is Alec Ingold questionable?
Wasn't he questionable last week?
I don't think he was. I don't think he was given.
Continue while I look it up.
Yes, I don't think he was. I view Chase Claypool, and this is not something that I'm seeing in practice. This is not something this is just me being the mad offensive genius putting on my Mike McDaniel pretend hat. Especially with Chris Brooks being down, I see Chase Claypool being not a fullback, but an H-back, half tight end, half slot receiver, like Mike Gesicki was, if he could block.
Except he can block.
If he could block.
You mean like his great block at the end of the Patriots Raiders game last week? Oh, was that bad?
No. Let me address that. How, if you're Bill Belichick, the guy who's about to take Don Shula down, the mad genius of the NFL, how are you at the goal line situation and you have Mike Gesicki blocking Max Crosby?
Oh, yeah, but it was Mike Gesicki, and then there was the right tackle, and it was a competition between the two of them. Who's going to throw the lamest?
No. Mike Gesicki had first stab at it.
Correct, but then he had the right tackle behind him.
No play, no instance ever in the history of football is a good play where Mike Gesicki is responsible for being the first person to block one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Like, how do you come up with that play? You are a genius, allegedly. I had to take off genius points for that. That was crazy.
I actually almost think, and I didn't see what Gesicki did after the fact. Maybe he was just supposed to chip him, slow him down, like even a tiny bit. He didn't even do that. It was like, I mean, terrible. Okay, so anyway, the bottom line actually is that Omar initially thought Chase Claypool was not going to be active, and then I said yes, he's going to be active, and Omar thought about it, and he says, well, Poop's usually right, so Chase Claypool is going to be active.
But do the math. Who's inactive then? So you're saying Robbie Chosen.
Robbie Chosen's inactive. I'm just playing, by the way, in case it wasn't obvious. Yeah, Robbie Chosen's going to be inactive. I do expect Chase Claypool to be active. I don't think he's going to get a ton of snaps, but I do expect him to be active. And by the way, Omar, for the record, yes, Alec Ingold was questionable last week as well.
Oh, okay. All right, maybe. Here's why I don't like making Robbie Chosen inactive, and I've addressed this earlier in the podcast. Okay, let's just say, for instance, something happens to Tyreek. He's cramping. He gets a hamstring injury. Same thing with Jalen Waddle. You know, those two individuals and their ability to space the field is what keeps.
Are you still on that? Oh, my God.
When did I let it go?
But you're making it sound like, for example,
who can run their routes? Name somebody else who can run their routes.
I don't think if you put Cedric Wilson Jr. in there, for example, that
I ain't putting no safety over Cedric Wilson Jr.
I don't think you're putting a safety over Robbie Chosen either. The dude's like, other than the one catch against Denver at the end in garbage time at the end of a 50-point game. I mean, and I know you like the guy and all that, and I respect what he's done in the NFL.
Don't put a safety over Cedric over Robbie Chosen. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't think the Eagles would, but
okay.
Sean, wow, thank you very much, man.
Holy crap, Sean.
Yeah. Sean, thank you so much. Met you guys at training camp. I am the Clean the World soap recycling guy. Truly appreciate your content. Truly appreciate your contribution. Listen daily. Agree with most. Yell back at you once in a while. Why are you yelling at Omar? Come on. Oh, sorry. LOL.
Listen, I'm not the only person who gets yelled at in this.
No. I get the feeling I get yelled at.
You got a whooping this week, and we might get into some of that because you launched a week of people getting whooping.
What did I do? What did I do?
What did you do? You think you want to talk about the group chat?
Do we want to go there? Guys, do you guys want to go there? Let's leave it to the folks. Although Shouldn't what happens in the group chat stay in the group chat?
I thought so too, but apparently Beasley talked about it in the podcast.
Oh, did he? Okay. No, okay. So what Omar's talking about is a whole discussion of Tyreek versus Tua MVP. I think that was the whole thing.
No, it started with Justin Herbert and Tua, and then it morphed into, because Justin Herbert pooped the bed again.
You mean with two guys in his face throwing a pass off his back foot that his receiver got beat on at the end of the route that Stephen Gilmore jumped? Look, he didn't, and he admittedly did not have a good game. He overthrew Keenan Allen wide open down the sideline twice. But again, this is where, and especially Dolphin fans who were very quick to defend Tua in his first 2 seasons because of the circumstances around him. Can we not, when it happens to another quarterback who fails, to not be strictly on the quarterback and not examine circumstances around him? Is that not fair?
Does he not have weapons?
He's got a crap offensive line. Can we be honest about this? And again, you talk about his weapons all you want. Look at the end of the route on that pick. Quentin Johnson, their rookie first-round pick, let Stephen Gilmore basically tell him, excuse me, get out of my way, son. I'll go get the ball while you do whatever it is you're doing, falling on the ground over here. So we can talk about weapons all you want, and he's not playing as well as Tua is right now. Note what I just said, okay? Yes. Justin Herbert's not having the season Tua is having, okay? But again, if we're going to make excuses for Tua in his first 2 seasons, let's be fair and examine the totality of the circumstances for every quarterback.
Okay. He's about to get his second coach fired, but let's move on from that. Okay.
Brandon Staley's a bad coach. It's not got nothing to do with Herbert. I mean, that's a bad comment. But go ahead.
No. He's a quarterback. Tua's got one on his notch, and Justin Herbert's about to have his second coach fired.
Oh,
but,
my God. Wow.
Okay. No, the conversation morphed from that to every, other quarterbacks can run this offense and run it to a semblance that it looks like this. Look at Jimmy Garoppolo. Look at the success all these other guys have had in this offense, Matt Ryan and all this stuff. And I find that conversation disrespectful on Tua's regard, because here the young man is about to set on pace for setting not just franchise records, NFL records.
Except he's not. I don't know what stats are you talking about?
Scoring for
that's a team record. It's not a quarterback.
Okay. He's a quarterback of record that's about to lead the offense that breaks all kinds of offensive records for offensive proficiency. Okay. I don't see that happening for just anybody. He's right now the number 1 rated quarterback in the NFL. He's probably going to be up there most of the season. Maybe he finishes 1, 2, or 3. But if he does produce the top passer rating for a second straight season, he'll be the first to do it. He'll be the third to do it since 2000, joining Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers, who are first ballot Hall of Fame quarterbacks, correct?
Absolutely.
So,
but the point of the conversation, and those of us who were like, and again, this goes back to in 2020, 2021, it was all about there's nothing around Tua. And this year, if you can't acknowledge the fact that he benefits from having weapons up the wazoo, the fastest offense in NFL history, with maybe the most creative play caller and play designer in a long time, maybe not NFL, that might be hyperbolic, but in a long time, if you don't think that plays a big role in the numbers he's putting up, I think you're absolutely crazy.
Okay,
to the question that Chad asked, where it was like many quarterbacks. I don't know that anybody said many quarterbacks. Tua is perfect for the system. He is operating it at absolutely peak efficiency for the most part in 2023. He's the front runner for MVP because it's always going to go to the quarterback, where we can make an argument that I don't think it's ridiculous that it maybe
Chris Perkins did.
It maybe should be Tyreek. And I don't think that's being disrespectful to Tua. And I think if you're just going to go ahead and say, well, it's Tua, and Tyreek, no, he's got nothing to do with it. That, to me, that's disrespectful to Tyreek and what he does for this offense. That's all.
If Tyreek is coming out, Tyreek and Stephen A. Smith basically, and I encourage you to read one of my former colleague, Chris Perkins' column, that Tyreek is making a great case for MVP. And Tyreek is having a phenomenal season. Probably he is the top offensive weapon in the NFL. If he doesn't get hurt, he's going to be on pace for 2,000 yards. He's dynamic, okay? This is not anything anybody has said. But my argument is Tua makes a lot of those things happen for Tyreek. From the standpoint of, it's not just Tyreek benefits Tua, Tua benefits Tyreek. Majority of their touchdown plays right now, especially in recent weeks, plays that Tyreek's just out there running routes. He's caught on
running
video.
He's running past a cornerback in one-on-one coverage on the sideline. I mean, that's not
No. There was one play in, I think it was the Giants game, where Tyreek is literally like, yeah, apologize to Tua. Sorry, bro, I ran the wrong route. My bad. And it was a touchdown play. And Tua's like, don't worry, bro. I'll find you. He's like, do not apologize. Don't worry, bro. I'll find you. And then last week,
he's open by 5 yards. Of course, he's gonna find them.
Oh my God! All quarterbacks do that.
Elmar, I don't want to spend like half an hour on this. We can agree to disagree, because you think Tua is more responsible for Tyreek's success than the other way around.
I do not think. I think
that's what you just said, though.
If you want to ask me what's responsible for the offensive success, I'll tell you it's the offensive line, and I've said that since Denver.
And see, to me, I'll say it's the speed and the scheme. And I asked you this question earlier, and I want you to go on the record for all in front of all these nice people. 10 years from now, when we look back at the 2023 Dolphin offense, quickly, what's the first thing that's going to come to mind?
Tua was the MVP of the year.
Oh, my God. Are you serious? You're going to look back at that 2023 Dolphin offense and not go immediately, oh, that speed was crazy.
No.
Yeah, okay.
And you know why? Allow me to elaborate. Because you are the one that pointed out Devon Achane is at 7 yards downfield before the point of contact on his 12.1 yards per carry average. Okay?
Speed.
No, because of the blocking and the offensive line.
Omar, look at the misdirection on those plays and look at how many blocks actually take place where it's not just the opposing defense running the wrong way with the misdirection. And then A-Chain speed just takes advantage of that. And Austin Jackson is running 15 yards down the field looking for somebody to block because it's so wide open.
Phenomenal. But you can't find me a play. Where Raheem Mostert, Achane, whoever, except for wide receivers, are running 20, 30 yards downfield and an offensive lineman isn't in that picture. Can't find one. But
is that a product of great blocking? Or is it the product of all the space that they're creating because of the speed?
It all works hand in hand. And I can tell you it would not be working if the offensive line wouldn't be doing what they're doing. The protection, 6th and 7. Oh, come on.
See,
you want to give it to all this speed. Okay, there have been fast teams in the NFL before.
Nothing like this combined with the creative.
So you're telling me the Al Davis strategy of building a team for 2 decades didn't produce this, but Miami all of a sudden they did. No, it's the line.
Yes.
It's the line. It's the play call.
And the Raiders always had usually one fast guy, whether it was a Jet or Cliff Branch or.
You know those teams better than I do.
No, correct. They usually had one guy, and the other guy was like a Fred Biletnikoff, who was a, for lack of a better term, possession receiver. They never had the kind of stupid speed that Dolphins had. And can I wrap up with this? Because to me, it's kind of a like lame conversation. How about we just appreciate the fact that how insanely well this offense is working and that there are so many contributing factors, including, putting Tua above all of the rest, I think is not particularly fair.
You asked me what I'm going to look back and remember. And I'm telling you, I'm going to look back and remember this quarterback that everybody believed was destined for greatness at Alabama finally goes through all the fire and brimstone and all the naysayers and all the critics And somehow, some way, he's figured out a way to not just resurrect his career, but become one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. And this is the season he's doing it. It's not an aberration.
He was very good at the beginning of last year. And again, I personally think you're crazy. Just like if we look back at the 1999 LA Rams offense, and I would, fans by all means chime in. You're not going to tell me the first thing you remember is Kurt Warner, who was the MVP as a guy who had been bagging groceries before. What you remember is the greatest show on turf, or you remember Marshall Faulk and the two wide receivers.
I'll tell you, Kurt Warner I think he was a first ballot Hall of Famer or a second ballot.
It doesn't matter. If I ask you quickly, first thing comes to mind, 99 Rams, you're not saying Kurt Warner. Sorry.
I'm not going to say speed. I'm going to say,
I
probably would say Kurt Warner.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
I probably would say Kurt Warner.
Okay. Let's agree to disagree. I think you're completely crazy. 98 Vikings, Randall Cunningham, Randy Moss. What are you thinking about? Again, without thinking about it for so long.
Randy Moss completely went off, and Randall Cunningham finally learned how to be a pocket quarterback.
What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Randy Moss.
Thank you. Okay.
I mean, yeah.
And they never
won anything.
It's not always about the quarterback, not taking anything away from Tua.
I am not an always about the quarterback person. Don't do that to me.
Yeah, but you're. But and by the way, it was funny too because I saw somebody commenting on X today that you're a Tua hater. And I'm like,
I'm a Tua hater.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell are you smoking? Whoever that was. It was
Listen,
like,
Tuanon doesn't know I spent a whole year on X's and Omar campaigning for Tua, even when he broke his hip. Like, tank for Tua. Brian Flores knew who was in that locker room rooting against him. Who was in that media contingent rooting against him. And the damn show was me. Did it with no goddamn shame either.
Dude, I'm on your side here, telling everybody that Omar has always been a Tua backer without question. Right. And for me, I am a guy who pushes back against the hyperbole one way or the other. And in fact, some of you will know that there were some Tua bashers in the offseason, and I was like, what the hell are you people? What's wrong with you people? Can it just be somewhere like in between? He's the greatest quarterback who ever lived to another guy who can't do anything right. I mean,
here's my thing, and we can end this conversation here because I know not one of your favorite conversations.
Well, it's kind of pointless. People are anchored in their position. So
yeah, yes. If everybody is like Durham Smythe and Alec Ingold are no less valuable to this offense than everybody short of Tyreek. You know, I get it. But
did you say Tyreek or did you say Tyreek? How come you're not mentioning Tua though?
Okay, can you let me make my point?
Okay, go ahead.
Everything is working well and going together and flowing. Hell, Kendall Lamb. I could put Kendall Lamb in there in top 5 of reasons why this team is where they are as a team. And I can make a damn good argument for that. But when you talk to everybody to a man individually, you know who they'll credit? Tua.
If you preface the question with talk about Tua's role in the offense.
No. Sometimes it's not even solicited. Sometimes you're not even talking about it. Tyreek does it all the time.
Okay. And it made for great stories and all that, and people jumped on it. Pay attention and read very carefully Mike McDaniel's answer to Shad's question about many quarterbacks will be able to do this, and tell me where he says it's strictly about Tua instead of talking about it's everybody having worked together for a year and a half in this system, everything contributing together. That's the point that I always make. And the other point I was going to make, and if, knock on wood, something were to happen to Tua, no, the offense would not be operating at the same level of efficiency with Mike White. But if you also think that it would go from being a historic offense to being crap, I think you're crazy, because the speed wouldn't disappear, the play calling wouldn't disappear, and the offensive line wouldn't disappear.
Thank you. See, I mean, here's a problem that I have with the whole conversation, because if you ask me what's the number one reason why this team is off to as hot as a start as they are, I tell you it's the damn offensive line. And I've told you that since week 3. But why is my comment and my statement and not as controversial as everybody else's comment and statement? Because everybody else is anti-Tua. Why am I not anti-Tua? You understand what I don't understand?
I'm not anti-Tua either. I think he's absolutely playing a big role in the success, but it's a combination of so many factors. And again, if the season were to end today, he's going to win MVP because he's a quarterback. But what Tyreek Hill is doing compared to previous wide receivers in the NFL, not just in terms of stats, but in terms of what he does to opposing defenses and the space he creates, to me, that's MVP worthy, even though he's got no shot because he's a wide receiver. Okay.
And none of this works without the offensive line. None of it. Zero. None of it.
Okay, let's move on.
None of it.
Trey Hendricks, thank you very much. Why does Tua get labeled as system quarterback? Isn't every quarterback part of a system? Also, a good head coach is going to create an offensive system around the strengths of this personnel. Love the show. Can't disagree with anything. The idea of a system quarterback is somebody who needs a specific offensive scheme to succeed, whereas another scheme he wouldn't do nearly as well. Whereas some quarterbacks are deemed guys capable of succeeding in any system. That's the difference. That's why Tua gets labeled a system quarterback. But even if he's a system quarterback, he's in the perfect system for him, and he's making it work at a very high level. So it's kind of semi-irrelevant. Except for those who could get in their feelings about Tua not getting fouled.
Aaron Rodgers is a system quarterback.
Bullshit. Excuse my language.
He's a West Coast system quarterback. Yes, he is.
Are you going to tell me?
The Jets literally picked up and said, "Here, Aaron, we're bringing your system with us."
He's more comfortable in that. Are you seriously gonna look in the camera and say that he wouldn't succeed in just about any?
Is he not a system quarterback? Has he played in any other system?
Oh my Lord!
Has he played in any?
This is the part where I'm going to say, "Sure, Omar, whatever you say."
But I don't like the whole system quarterback thing. I don't.
But you do not. You do understand that's what it means.
Aaron Rodgers and Chad Pennington are both system quarterbacks. They both played in the same system. They both ran the exact same system. I can tell you the lineage of the system.
If both of them, for example, if Aaron Rodgers and I'm going to use quarterback B because I don't want to use Tua for this example. If Aaron Rodgers and let's say Ryan Tannehill go operate in a different.
Ryan Tannehill was in the same system too. He was in the West Coast system.
Okay.
He's had many systems, and he's not good in
and if you stick him in a different system, correct, Aaron Rodgers is still going to succeed. I'm sorry. If you don't think that, I think you're completely.
Oh, okay. But I'm not a big, he's a system quarterback. No, I don't believe that. Every quarterback runs a system. Aaron Rodgers has never played in any system but the one he's in. Peyton Manning was a system quarterback. Peyton Manning's one of the arguably greatest quarterbacks of all time. Tom Brady ran a system for 18 years, took the system with him to Tampa Bay, won a Super Bowl, same system. Like, what are we talking about? System quarterback. Tom Brady.
You're completely missing the point, but that's okay. That's fine.
No. What is the point?
Dude, no. The point is, if you you take away a quarterback from the system with which he's familiar and put him in a different system, there are some quarterbacks who would succeed at different levels. Do you not acknowledge that?
And I think that Aaron Rodgers would succeed at a different level. Peyton Manning would succeed at a different level. Tom Brady, until they started running his plays that he ran in New England, and Bruce Arians had to say, "Hey, Tom, let me let you take it." It's all the same thing.
Okay, so maybe now you're just saying that Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning are better than Tom Brady. That's fine.
They're all system quarterbacks.
Okay. Thank you for starting another. Okay, whatever.
Hey.
Again, it doesn't matter because yes, a good head coach. Not only a good head coach creates an offensive system around the strengths of his. That's the essence of good coaching. You maximize your strength, you minimize your weaknesses.
Absolutely, which is what I'm still waiting for Vic Fangio to do. Anyway,
we've still got time.
Yeah, it's still got time. 10 more games.
We can't have long conversations on every single topic like this, man. Good friend Toby here. Thank you, Toby. Always, why is it every time the Tua stats come up, you say, yeah, but, and then go on some explanation thing, but Wilkins has a sack when no one blocks him, or Sealer gets 2 sacks versus a third string center, you say nothing. Enough already. Toby, why so angry, Toby? Why so angry?
Why is it that every time
why so angry?
We say, okay, But Wilkins has, yeah, okay. Have I talked about Wilkins and Steelers?
Oh, no, dude, you don't think that says meant for me? Toby,
Oh,
why?
no, I'm just saying, I'm not talking, when you do that against the.
Correct, that's what we talked about.
I'm not like, one, I don't like this whole, the schedule's so weak. Look what they're doing against the weak schedule. The strength of schedule. Everybody has an opponent, and opponents get watered down by injuries. That's part of the NFL. It is what it is. You can't schedule who's going to be without their starting quarterback, or be without their starting running back, or be without their starting right tackle, or their starting cornerback. So I don't buy that whole, the schedule, the system. But I also don't sit here and glorify what Wilkins or Sealer have done for the last 2 weeks, or how dominant they've been against the run for the last 2 weeks, because who the hell did they play? And who the hell it was a stat game. Those are all stats.
So you do pay attention to strength of schedule in a roundabout sort of way, despite the fact that you don't want to admit it. The fact that Dolphins got 7 sacks against the Giants, does that mean, the pass rush is back? Well, they played
no. If the Giants had some of their starting offensive linemen,
but they didn't.
I give some credence.
Correct. They had a paper offensive line, and the Dolphins were playing from ahead the entire game, where the Giants had to throw the ball. And they were playing against Daniel Jones, who never met a sack he didn't like to take.
He's Tannehill Jr. is what you're saying? Oh my God, my daughter.
And Toby, again, with the two effect. Again, when I only interject when I feel it's becoming hyperbolic. And if you just throw out stats without context, sorry, you want to just go with that. More power to you. For me, it makes a difference to throw a 20-yard deep into Tyreek Hill when the defense is so scared of him that there's nobody within 5 yards, and it goes on to a stats. Or if he does a shovel pass to Achane and he goes for 35 yards, that's a 35-yard completion.
I agree with you in some regard on this, and it's not just Tyreek's speed that keeps defensive honest and spaces the field, but it's also their lateral runs, not lateral, horizontal runs.
Yeah.
I'm expecting them to be left and right against the Eagles, and instead of head on. Like, are you crazy? You don't want to run it that head on. You want to run left and right, which is why you run an outside zone scheme. It's part of the beauty of what you do as a team and an offense. If my toddler actually tries to get out of her crib, I'm going to have to go run. So. And
you do what you got to do, and I'll hold down the fort, and I can have some people bitch at me a little bit more. Andres, thank you very much. That's okay. I can take it. I'm a big boy. Chris, thank you very much. I think the driver of the anyone can run this offense topic is that the things at which Tua is elite, accuracy, anticipation, manipulating safeties and linebackers, don't show up on TV like size and arm strength do. Sure.
Amen. Praise you, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. But here's the two quick points I want to make. 2 quick things, okay? The anyone can run this offense. Nobody has said that anyone can run this offense. I don't believe anybody has ever said that. But if you don't think
quarterbacks can run this offense, though.
If you do not think that this offense is favorable for quarterbacks with the speed and the scheme right now,
you gotta be able to throw a deep ball. Ryan Tannehill can't.
Ryan Tannehill throws a better deep ball than Tua, or close to it. Dude, come on.
You're a liar.
Come on, man. Jesus. Come on. Hitting Tyreek when he's 3 to 5 yards behind. Okay. Tua has elite accuracy in the short to intermediate range, which I have said from the start of his NFL career. The fact that, yes, he can complete deep passes. Nobody ever said he couldn't, even though for some reason that became a narrative among his supporters. There's a difference between, again, being a great deep ball thrower, hitting Tyreek when he's 3 to 5 yards behind a DB. That's kind of what's to be expected from, again, a large majority of NFL quarterbacks. And the thing with manipulating safeties and linebackers, if you're talking about looking off receivers, that's QB 101. Sorry. I know Mark's
and not all QBs master QB 101. Some of them got a C in the course.
Sure. But you're a good quarterback. You're a good quarterback.
He got an A+ in the course. Chris, I 1,000% agree with every single statement that you made. the reason why Tua, everybody, including myself, predicted Tua would be a good NFL quarterback is the accuracy, it's the anticipation. You forgot pocket presence, Chris. Pocket presence, the release, and he manipulates safeties and linebackers. I asked him part of that question there.
He looks off receivers.
What'd you say?
He looks off receivers like QB 101. I mean, again, this is where, and I'm sorry, I can't help
the spots. There's not every quarterback throws to spots. Ryan Tannehill will never.
You said that before, and I can't. My head's going to explode. If you're, for example, if your wide receiver is 20 yards down the field and he's going to make a cut, obviously you're throwing to a spot because your receiver's not there yet. So, you're throwing to a spot. If you're talking about a receiver or a quarterback who cannot throw before a receiver makes his cut, that's a different story. And Tua does that occasionally. Let's not pretend like he does it all the time, but he does do that very well. But I'm going to take issue with your because you've said that before, and I was like, what the hell does that mean? If you're 30 yards down the field and I'm trying to hit you on a bomb, I'm not throwing it where you are 30 yards. I'm not throwing to the receiver. I'm throwing to the spot where you're going to be.
That's not what that. Yes, I hear what your point is. That's not half the time. Majority of Tua's routes, he's not throwing to a receiver. He's throwing to a spot.
He's throwing to where the receiver is going to be. I mean, that's.
Does Ryan answer the question? Does Ryan Tannehill do that?
And then why do you always default to Ryan Tannehill?
Ryan Tannehill is the right. He is right at the bar of average quarterback play. You look up average.
Tua is much better than average. Have we not
exactly? But I'm just saying, if that's average quarterback play, Ryan Tannehill is a $200 million quarterback. He has made $200 million in his career. That is
because of bad management. To me, Ryan Tannehill has never been he's never been better than okay. And the only time he was better, he's only been better than okay when Derrick Henry was going nuts and they were doing a lot of play action and that was creating, like, first of all, great pockets for him and receivers who were getting open downfield.
Great system.
It was a perfect system for him, and that basically the only thing he could do.
Yeah.
And Chris, I would add something else, another intangible he does well. I mentioned that this week, and I think Omar fought me on this because he fights me on everything. I find his ball skills in terms of play fakes and hiding the ball and doing that to be excellent.
I didn't fight you. I've never paid attention to that.
No, then pay attention.
I will.
Okay.
I didn't say you were wrong. I just never. I don't see anything special about his ball fakes, but I will look.
You want to address this one, Justin Chen? How come local media never breaks news? Only Barry. Seems like Schefter and Rappaport break everything Dolphins related.
Do you really want the answer, Justin?
Go ahead, Omar.
I mean, if you really want the answer, I'll give you the answer. But I don't really think you want the answer. Most of media is fed now to the rights holders of the networks. And Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, they are the rights holders of the networks. And therefore, a lot of the information, and you can call Woj and whatever, a lot of the information gets fed. It's like they're Associated Press, where information used to go to Associated Press and then it gets filtered out to everybody else. That's how it works. And I'll give you a perfect example. If you agents feed them information for quick pro quos, because that's really what it's about. And a lot of the times hey, I need you to pub this guy and talk about him and do a package on him. And I'll hook you up with some information when I got it. That's how the game works and the game is played. And right or wrong, it's just what's been happening for probably over 2 decades. And it is what it is. If you break stories nowadays, and I've been known to break stories from time to time, it will have to come directly from the player or an agent that you have a good relationship with. I've got a good relationship with Drew Rosenhaus. I've known Drew for a billion years. And right after he'd give the information to Schefter and Rappaport on the same chain, then he'd send it to me. It's if that's what you feel is important in life, then cool. But I hope I explained.
You explained it perfectly.
What you wanted to know. And a lot of times teams feed them as well because teams need favorable coverage.
And they're the rights holders.
I don't think there's a coinky-dink that you've seen a lot of Mike McDaniel mic'd up and sit downs. And yeah, the Dolphins are a hot team. But one, Stephen Ross needs you to talk about his team. And there's reason to talk about him. Now, the Dolphins have to do what they need to do to make sure that talk continues and remains to be favorable. Do you get what I'm saying to you?
Isaiah, thank you very much. This is all deja vu. We saw this last season. Tua was MVP. Reek was on pace for 2K. Tua got hurt, then what? Offense fell to pieces with Bridgewater, an average QB. Stop the Tua slander, please. All I am going to say to that, and I did the math, and do with this what you want, and I'm sure it's going to get slapped back in my face with all sorts of nasty comments. Teddy Bridgewater played 5 games last year. One of them was 3. Yes, I'm going to go there, Omar. Are
we doing this again?
This is somebody, and because I'm going to ask you to stop the Teddy slander. Teddy Bridgewater played 5 games. He played 3 snaps against Buffalo, I believe, maybe even 2 snaps after Tua hurt his back or whatever it was when he got shoved by Matt Milano. Then he played the 1 snap against the Jets. The 3 legitimate appearances he had were against Cincinnati, Minnesota, and New England at the end. Against Cincinnati, he came in late in the second quarter. His stats prorated over the full game were over 329 passing yards. Against Minnesota, he came in early in the second quarter after Skylar Thompson left the game with a shoulder injury, and he threw for 329 yards in less than 3 full quarters, and they win that game if Jalen Waddle doesn't let a pass go through his hands for a pick and doesn't fumble at the Minnesota 30-yard line. And then in the game against New England, he had that horrible pick 6 in the third quarter. And in every game that Tua didn't play, the defense produced exactly 0 takeaways. 0 as in zip, zilch, nada, which makes a difference in 1 loss, because we could look at the Sunday night Pittsburgh game that the Dolphins won 16-10, which they won strictly because the defense came up with 3 interceptions. So again, when we talk about stats that lack context.
I gotta go. I'll be back.
Okay, and I'll give you another one as well, that if you look at, and I did the math on this, if you look at Tyreek Hill with Teddy Bridgewater last year, extraordinarily small sample, I will give you, but the yards that Tyreek gained with Bridgewater as quarterback projected over a full 17-game season was somewhere around 2,500 yards. So again, and certainly it didn't look the same when Bridgewater was a quarterback as with Tua, and yes, there was a drop-off. But again, this notion that it was complete garbage when Teddy Bridgewater was there, and that, yes, the Dolphins lost all their game. Again, please consider every factor, such as defensive takeaways, and then the turnovers as well in the Minnesota game. And in the Bengals game, it was a 1-score game, less than 7 points, actually, when the Dolphins were driving, and there was a pick that turned the game around. And that pick came because Mike Gesicki never turned around to look at a slant that Teddy Bridgewater threw right to him, and it went straight to a Bengals defensive player because of that, because of their lack of familiarity. And what I had said last year, for those who are going to bring it back, very, very precisely what I had said, is that if Bridgewater has a full week of prep as the starter, plays a full game with Teron Armstead as his left tackle, the drop-off is not going to be as significant as Dolphin fans might think. And guess what happened? Teddy Bridgewater, first of all, never played a full game and never had Teron Armstead at left tackle. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And that's not Tua slander, by the way, okay? Since I've already said many times that he's probably, if the season were 10 right now, is the NFL MVP. So I don't know exactly what that would be considered as far as Tua slander, such as life. Okay, while Omar is tending to Mila, is another one. Lewis Collins, thank you very much. Named Miami track team. Don't forget Teron Armstead as the fastest LT in NFL Combine history at 4.71. I wasn't really, and the fact Austin Jackson moves well for right tackle also. But when I think about their offense and that insanely stupid speed, I'm thinking about the skill position players. Oh, Kelly.
I apologize because Brave was not a hit with my toddler. And
yeah, she may be too young for Brave, actually.
Yeah, well, it was not a hit. I knew I shouldn't have went with that one. She asked for
what's the replacement?
A show, Bluey.
Don't know Bluey.
Bluey. Yeah. Anyway, I do want to.
Read what Kelly wrote.
Yeah. No. Kelly has a point. Omar needs to chill on O-line. You're in for a long Sunday night. O-line is the weak part. Okay. Now, Poop. What have I said is the mismatch of this Sunday's game?
Yeah, it's the Eagles defensive line against the Dolphin offensive line.
Yeah. Okay. Now, in this instance, you are outmatched. They've got all, and I think the Dolphins offensive line, the Dolphins defensive line versus their offensive line. You're going to probably, if you have no chance to win this game if you don't win in the trenches. However, I will say this, Kelly. Keep in mind, you're probably going to be playing without Connor Williams, who, hold on, let me finish.
Okay,
was your second best offensive lineman, and you'll be playing without Teron Armstead, who was your first, you're without a doubt best offensive lineman. Check with me back at the end of the season when let's hope that they have a healthy Connor Williams and a healthy Teron Armstead with this same semblance of an offensive line. And I will tell you that they could probably play with the Eagles and anybody else. But yes, this Sunday, it will be a mismatch. And hopefully Tua can compensate it and Mike McDaniels can game plan around it.
Okay, here my timeout was what I was going to say is allow me to respectfully disagree. I don't think they need to win in the trenches. I don't even think they need to play even in the trenches because the Eagles are a better trench team than the Dolphins are. I think they just cannot get blown away in the trenches. And this is where I think they're skill position players. And right now, Tua is performing at a much higher level than Jalen Hurts. So is he going to get pressured? He's going to get pressured. But give him enough time at certain spots during the game. Like the pressure rate against Buffalo, according to Pro Football Reference, was 29%, which is the highest that he's faced all season. It's still like less than a third of your pass attempts.
Do you guys like that one, or do you
why did we get smaller here? Now we got bigger again.
Because I'm controlling it, brother. I
know, but why? It's like you're freaking me out. So anyway, you're freaking me, dude. You're like playing here.
I'm trying to see how this works best with the questions.
Okay, my whole point is I think the Dolphins have a fighting chance unless they get completely annihilated on both lines. Because
I disagree with you.
Better, especially since the Eagles have major injury issues in the secondary.
I disagree with you. I think that they have to win defensive line versus their offensive line. This is supposed to be a good defensive line, is it not? They've got Lane Johnson battling an injury. You've got to contain and pressure and harass Jalen Hurts and stop the run. If you don't do that, you're not going to win. You have to win in that area. The offensive line just can't embarrass themselves. You can't take another ride on the Eichenberg Express and crash. You can't. What happened in Buffalo cannot happen. They can't beat you to death with 4 rushers. That if that happens, it's going to be a nightmare.
Except, as I pointed out in my full comprehensive game preview on alldolphins.com, which is up right now, if you remember that Buffalo game, first of all, the Dolphins scored touchdowns on their first 2 drives, and the offense looked exactly like it's looked pretty much all season. And then there were some sloppy, self-inflicted mistakes on the next couple of drives before then Buffalo really took over. So I think the Dolphins can hang and maybe even pull out a win. Again, if the Dolphin offensive line holds up to a certain degree, I don't expect the Dolphin defensive line to win that matchup. Sorry, I just don't.
Well, what's the point of paying them big money for then?
Because it's not. Again, you're talking about a good defensive line, even though it's not played great all year, against the best offensive line in the NFL. The best offensive line in the NFL. So it's not a winning matchup.
Kelly keeps coming at me. Oh, anyway, but I listen, Kelly, and I understand I'm reading these on tape delays, but Kelly says Omar's crazy. If he's amped about our offensive line, their success was all McDaniel so far. So was McDaniel holding them back last year? What am I missing here? Like
maybe the crew. Well, here's the thing. Maybe the creativity has gone up a notch. Number one. Number two, they didn't have Austin Jackson last year. Remember, he was making the switch to right tackle, and we never saw. And maybe Austin Jackson was going to be a good right tackle all along.
Isaiah Wynns emerges. Kendall Lamb holding it down. Kendall Lamb, and not that I believe in Pro Football Focus ratings, because I do not. And anybody who knows me knows that I do not. But like Kendall Lamb is like rated one of the top offensive linemen in the NFL. Not that I think that's
he's been very good. He's been very good.
I mean, yeah, I don't think that that's completely off, but I think that would be a stretch. And I love Kendall Lamb. He's allowed 1 sack this season, but if you ask me for a guy to play 311 snaps and give up 1 sack as a backup, 8-year journeyman, like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're gonna make me push over the podium like Mike McDaniel. Like, how do you not put some damn respect on what the offensive line has done? Find me a big run play where an offensive lineman, if not 2, are 20 to 30 yards downfield. Who the hell you think they are?
But see, that to me, that's a product more of the scheme and the speed than it is the play of the offensive line. And again, in terms of the pass protection, some of it is Tua's ability to get the ball out quickly, which helps pass pro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tua's always been that quarterback, though.
Sorry?
Tua's always been that quarterback, though.
Correct. But and last year he got the ball out quickly as well because these guys were getting open pretty fast and he was recognizing it very quickly. So it's a good combination. Question. Thank you, Moya. Being some random ball boy in Denver, why was Mike McDaniel ever given a chance to join a professional football team as a coach, scout, or otherwise? As the story goes, he just kept hounding him, kept being around and volunteering to do whatever it was. Got his foot in the door, immediately impressed people with his work ethic.
His mom married a guy who was working with NFL Films, and the guy from NFL Films made a contact with the Dolphins and helped him be a ball boy. That's what the story is. His mom married a guy. How do you not know this?
I never heard that part of
it. I got to find you the YouTube. There's a YouTube clip of Mike McDaniels. He lost his hat. He would ride his bike to
correct.
He would ride his bike to Broncos practices and be out there and get signed balls and all kinds of things, just be a fanboy. One day he lost his hat, and the guy from NFL Films found his hat and then delivered it to him and his mom. Him and his mom made a love connection. They got married, and that guy who worked for NFL Films, which means they're around the team, know people in the team, associated with the team, said, "Hey, my stepson is a real big fan. You've seen him around. He's always around. Can he be a ball boy?" They let him be a ball boy. And ball boy for Mike Shanahan, he was a ball boy at the same time that Mike Shanahan's son, Kyle Shanahan, was a ball boy. So connections. And
yeah, but correct. But then he got into coaching through again.
Ball boys are going to run the league in 20 years. You got to be nice to the ball boys. They will be future GMs.
Oh, and he was also very smart and very driven. And that's, you put those things together, and it's like that's where we wound up. Oh, okay. Now I'm learning some stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna share this. Don't let this leave the podcast. Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right. I'm in the locker room. There's this should not leave the podcast. Don't let it leave the podcast. There is a soap thief in the locker room. Okay. And he's become infamous for being a soap thief. And literally everybody on the team knows that if their soap is missing, it's the soap thief. I'm not going to call out any names.
You know who it is, aren't you?
I know who it is. I'm not going to call any names, but literally I'm talking to the soap thief and I'm confronting him about the fact that, bro, like, why don't you just buy and Amazon yourself some soap? But he apparently likes his reputation as a soap thief, but he's denying the fact that he's a soap thief. And then a locker room attendant is basically cleaning out the lockers, and he's overhearing our conversation, and he gives me a look like you gonna believe him that he's not a soap thief? Like, literally, if things become missing in the locker room, everybody knows who to go look for. So this is why I love the locker room. So, and I'm laughing because that ball boy, I'm thinking to myself, and that ball boy will probably be a GM or executive or a coach in about 20 years. 15.
We'll see. I think Mike McDaniel's story is pretty unique, actually. This is a good question from Cody here. You have to predict who we lose next year. Who? There's going to be a lot of Emmanuel Ogba would be okay. I'll start Emmanuel Ogba.
you take the layup, huh?
No hanging fruit.
The list is too long, Cody. The list is too long.
The part that's interesting too, and because you talk about the offensive line so much, is the 5 guys starting right now, assuming Connor's playing. All 5 of them have their contracts run out. All 5. That's crazy.
The list is too long. They can't afford most of this team that they have, which is why they have to take an all-in approach. Chris Greer's got 10 days to figure out how to trade for things that he needs, because this is a absolute all-in approach right now. And I think if you haven't checked out my piece, looking at every position on alldolphins.com, I'll tweet it out. They need, I would say there's 2 positions you could help yourself at right now. You need to probably help yourself at tight end, just because I'm not necessarily certain you have enough if something happens to Durham or Alec. And then also linebacker, inside linebacker particularly. Do you have, and nose tackle. Do you have enough? Now, in fairness to nose tackle, and a lot of people don't know this, but Raekwon Davis has been playing with a broken wrist. That's finally healed.
Why has he not been on the injury report?
He was initially earlier, but
hasn't been in a while.
Hasn't been in a while. Well, it was casted up and it's finally healed. But if you don't go to the training room, do you have to be on the injury report? Think about it.
You guys going to make a big 3 with Marcel LJ. Marcel Louis Jacques. It was funny one time, though. He was asking me to send him an email about something, and he was proceeding to spell his last name. I'm like, dude, French is my first language. I know how to spell Marcel Louis Jacques. Thank you. He was like, it's like first time I haven't had to spell it.
I don't know why we would need a big 3, and Marcel, I believe, is under contract with Big O. But
correct. We don't need it. Omar, you're all I need.
I like my open relationships.
I was looking for you to reciprocate the love, and you shoot me down like yesterday. That's nice.
No. I'm just looking. I'm just trying. I'm thinking how to get to the next level, and I think there's. If we do a partnership that I think we're doing, I think that maybe we introduce another person one day a week, and we cross-pollinate the worlds. And I'm trying to take over the world, man. I'm trying to take over the world.
Yeah.
Listen.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I've just learned an audience that you have been introduced to is an audience that can fall in love with you. Think about that.
That's beautiful.
Let that marinate a little bit.
I'm a little verklempt right now. I mean, that got me like right here. That's some beautiful stuff. Trey with a very good point. I hate how praise for Tyreek is viewed as bringing down Tua. Tua is a very good QB, but Tyreek is a generational talent.
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek is, and in fact, I was thinking about this. There has not been an impact player like that for the Dolphins, and we just lost Omar. We'll see what's going on here as I look at some more of the comments. But as you guys may or may not know, I go back to with the Dolphins. The first game I ever saw was the 1971 Christmas Day Classic. Welcome back, Omar. Christmas.
I have no idea what just happened.
This is how you treat our relationship. You just leave me and don't.
I've been loyal to you, Alan. I show up every day. I stray. I'm like one of your cats. I leave, but I come back home. Okay.
Cats don't go anywhere, and they purr all the time. I don't hear you purring. Okay. But I go back to the Christmas Day Classic game of 1971, and there's never been anybody who's like been such. such a transformational player the way Tyreek has. It's
Oh,
absolutely freaky.
I've never seen an NFL weapon or player like him. Never. And I've covered some of the great players, Hall of Fame players. I've seen Hall of Fame talent. Yeah, I've never seen anything like Tyreek. And it's not. It's just the blend of speed and quickness, because they're two different things, and durability.
Cheetah don't get hurt.
Cheetah don't get hurt. Cheetah cramps. He probably couldn't be named more appropriately. I'm trying to think if there's like an animal that could be that's more appropriate for who he is and what he represents. Because he can't run forever, but when he goes top speed, he goes top speed, and he can change directions. Can a cheetah change directions like that?
I don't know.
And he blocks.
I do know they can't chase like the gazelles or the gazelles that they run after for more than, I don't know how long it is. It's not long at all, and then they just.
And that's why I say he's so appropriately named, because, and I've been trying to get to the root of this, like cramping and this cramping thing with him. I mean, goodness gracious, this man cramps all the time.
Yeah, I had to reach out to my peeps in Kansas City to find out if that was an issue for there.
Yeah, it was, and he says it's been an issue his whole career, and like he might take 3 IVs during a game, like. And I'm like, how the hell do you get an IV? Like, somebody got to go through this with me where you give me an IV in 5 minutes, because he can get an IV in like that. And I'm like, huh? Like, how did you go to the locker room, get an IV? The defense is on the field. By the time the offense is back on the field, you're back out because you got your IV.
Correct. Let me address Mike here real quick. I'm sorry, Omar. Let me address Mike. Poop, didn't you see Herbert miss wide open deep balls last game he played? I don't know how long you've been on the show today, Mike, but yeah, I actually mentioned it. So yeah, I try to be fair with everybody, and it's not like I don't have blinders for anybody. He's not my boy, whoever. And somebody's asking, is Herbert a product of the or is a system quarterback, whatever? He's had 3 different systems in 4 years. So again, guys, let it go with the Herbert Tua thing. It's okay. It's okay to enjoy Tua's success without having to like.
Yeah, I'm actually getting to the point where I'm quite uncomfortable with the Herbert Tua comparisons. It's not needed. It's not necessary.
Correct. Chargers are very happy with their quarterback. Dolphins are very happy with their quarterback.
Compare Tua to the elite quarterbacks in the league: Herbert, Burrow, Jalen, Patrick Mahomes. I wouldn't even do it with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, are up there. Am I leaving off anybody? I know the old man, Aaron Rodgers, probably feels left out.
Lamar. Lamar's playing some good ball, man. I mean, I don't know what you guys are watching.
It's just not my style of quarterback, though.
Dude, he's throwing the ball like great, and against the Pittsburgh game, dude. Did you see the game against they play Tennessee last week in London? Move the ball up and down the field. They get into the red zone. All they do is call running plays, and they're not like a Lamar option. They're straight running plays. And then 2 weeks ago against the Steelers, he played great, except the receivers dropped like 3 touchdown passes.
I can honestly tell you, I haven't seen 1 snap of Baltimore Ravens football.
Okay, and
yeah.
I watched the game last Sunday because it was early, and then I rewatched the Pittsburgh game because I wanted to see.
Unfortunately, I'm cheating on you at that time, so doing the QAM pregame show.
Dare you?
I probably got to see if Lamar's game has evolved. But yeah, at this point, stop comparing him to just Herbert. Compare him to all the elite quarterbacks, because at this point, if you're not ready to say Tua's an elite quarterback, something's wrong with you. Can we talk about his durability? Yes, we can talk about his durability and will he hold up for a whole entire season. But goodness gracious, what does a man have to do to actually make people say he's elite? Like, I walk on water. Like, what else do you need?
I
What? Huh?
I'm not even going there. I'm not even going there.
I figured you didn't want
He's
that.
actually playing elite ball, and again, for the 18th time, if the season ends today, he's the NFL MVP. That's not good enough. Okay, can we?
No, it's not good enough to them anyway.
No,
It'll never be good enough.
Good morning from the Pacific Northwest. If you were going to play Cam Smith, would you start him or wait and let the game flow for a few possessions?
Bro, I don't know nothing about fantasy football. Sorry, can't help you out there,
dude. You're like, can we focus here?
What? Oh, I'm trying to fix something on my screen.
I mean, we had a question on here. Would you start Cam Smith or wait and let the game flow for a few possessions?
Oh, I thought he was talking about fantasy football. Sorry, my bad. My bad. I got a lot of things. I'm trying to monitor a toddler. Like, be nice to me, people. Like,
okay, I'll answer the question.
I like the worst parent in the world.
I think you'd want to get him from the start of the game. Let him get a feel from the start. No, Omar's going to disagree with me. Go, Omar.
Give the man a rep every half. Give the man a series every half. That should be your approach for the rest of the season. I hate and loathe. You know what the thing that I hate the most, and I learned this from Joe Philbin. We'd sit there and we'd harass him. I can't remember which player it was about. Well, are you going to play him this week? 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 Then the season finishes, and Joe Philbin's sitting at the owners' meeting, and he goes, I wish I would have played him some last season. In hindsight, those would have been valuable reps for him. No shit, Sherlock. Like, and
in hindsight, we were telling you before.
Yeah, and they live so much in the moment. Right now, Cam Smith has gone from working on the scout team, getting guys ready, getting Tyreek and Waddle ready. He spent the last 2 weeks with the real defense, cutting his teeth, playing, practicing, paying attention to the scheme that they're going to play and the calls that they're going to make. Right now is your window to play him, because when Jalen Ramsey comes back, and if you have a healthy Xavier Howard, he's riding the pine. Play him now. Play him a series in the first half, a series in the third quarter. Just give, you know how I feel about giving these cornerbacks some rest. Like, just you can put him out there a first down, second down, third down. If you want to put him out there if you want to put X out there on third down, go for it. But stop being this. I covered Bobby Bowden, and how dare anybody ever question Bobby Bowden. I covered a Bobby Bowden FSU team where his young players played the first series of the second quarter. Didn't matter what the score was. His quarterback got in there. The backup quarterback got in there. First series of the second quarter. Didn't matter what the score was. You have to let young people play so that they can learn from those experiences, and you can coach them up, and you have film that you can work from. If you do not do that, you're doing your team a disservice. And as I said with cornerbacks, everybody rotates on the field except for offensive linemen and secondary players. Why? Please tell me why.
Tell me why. Sorry.
I understand why offensive linemen do it. But are you telling me you can't get three cornerbacks already play? You telling me you can't give one a series off?
Sometimes four.
Yeah, sometimes four.
To me, it's borderline criminal that you're not putting him in the game when it's a 2-score game or a 3-score game in the fourth quarter. That part,
No. You just out here wearing down Xavier Howard's growing. Yeah. That makes brilliant sense.
Yeah. Omar, I know you'll love this question. By all means, Lionel, thank you very much. Can you guys talk about Tua's efficiency when Tyreek is on and off the field, since he's only on the field about 70% of the time? Tua's been extraordinarily efficient the whole year.
Lionel, you're getting to my point of, like, Mike McDaniel thinks he's slick. I see when Tyreek comes out the game, I see exactly what you're doing. Like, all you got to do is watch the film. He is wearing out that cornerback that he's about to go have Tyreek attack. And and then when Tyreek just sneaks back on the field like, oh, I haven't been anywhere, then he's running a goal. And it's like, bro, like it's like, how do these defensive coordinators not see this? Like, they are setting you up for the okie doke.
There and there's running a go against single coverage with a guy who's not checking him at the line, which is extraordinarily brilliant.
Hold on, you can't check Tyreek at the line. What are you crazy?
He's been bumped at the line before. It's
oh man, you asking for suicide right there? Checking Tyreek at the line?
And letting him get by you without any contact, not suicide for a cornerback. Are you serious?
Do you really want to play bump and run with Tyreek?
As opposed
to how you would play him?
Laying off him, of course. Michael Davis of the Chargers got in his face, like got in his grill last year, and then that was part of the reason why the Chargers were able to slow down Tyreek in that game, other than the fluke play on the fumble and the one play where the cornerback actually tripped. Lionel, here's what my answer to you. Absolutely, Tua has been very efficient, even with or without Tyreek on the field. But the fact is, this is a stat undeniable that his 6 longest completions, all of the completions of 40 yards or longer, are to Tyreek, and 8 of his 10 of 30 yards or longer are to Tyreek also, with the other 2 to Jalen Waddle. Those are undeniable, indisputable facts. So, yes, but to answer your question, been very efficient regardless.
All right. What else?
Justin, love you guys in the offseason. Love to see old players on the podcast and their side of the stories you guys have shared in the past.
You run the podcast, Justin, so
something to investigate.
Yes, we'll try to do our best to see if we can make it happen for you.
Any particular players we have in mind?
Oh, I haven't. That's honestly, and I'm being transparent with the podcast. We're having conversations with another company for the audio version, and they're like, "Well, we feel like we would benefit you guys would benefit by having a former player on the show." And we're thinking to ourselves, like, we're having success and doing well without any of that. Why would we need to do that? Like, and as somebody who ran I Am Athlete, I get it. It's about selling, and all they give a bleep about is selling ads and doing reads and marketing. And I'm like, that's not what we're doing. And you want to buy into what we're doing. You want to have us join your team, join your record label, and then tell us, you know what? I feel like you're going to do best if you work with this guy and this producer. Like, bro, like, either you want us or you don't want us.
Love us the way we are.
Like, yeah. Like, anyway, I'm trying to give y'all too much little inside baseball. But it's a struggle out here. But we thank you for your support. More than likely, and I'll just give you the heads up if you're watching this, more than likely we are going to start a new audio podcast under a different name, All Dolphins, somehow. And so you're probably going to have to unsubscribe where you are, which was Miami Dolphins Insiders, and subscribe to us because we let them keep all the little sides, whatever, because we can build on our own. We're fine. We're good. We're all right. We got you. So, Poop, would you like to add anything?
What Omar said.
It's hard out here.
Omar, you say it so well.
It's like, I feel like it had to be like Suge Knight. Like, I gotta shake people over the. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Suge Knight is.
Who is Suge Knight? Tell me who is Suge Knight.
He was a former record producer who's now in prison and supposedly hung somebody from a balcony and holding him by his feet. It was Vanilla Ice. Okay.
To get him to sign over his publishing. Yes.
There you go. Yeah. No.
Had a beef with that.
Do you see me as being that unhip?
High five. All right. You do know who Suge Knight is. What was the label he was under? What was the label he ran? And who did he run it with? Best producer in hip hop history.
I know who it is, but it's escaping me. You're going to tell me.
You might have to go see him if you're ill.
Dr. Dre.
There you go. Oh, another high five. All right.
I'm not as unhip, old geezer as you think I am. I would surprise you.
with these conversations, and as you know, some of you guys have built businesses, and this is like building a business, and we appreciate you because you are the customers. You got to go through some growing pains. And as I've said previously earlier on the show, if you did not know or you just showed up, everything that you contribute today, because as you can see, we've ramped up the production level. We're stepping our game up. We're working hard to step our game up for you. And what's contributed to this show will go to the production team, Peculiar GFX, for building this infrastructure. And they're not done yet either. They're not done yet. We're looking for sponsorships. We're looking for title sponsors for behind enemy lines. We're looking for sponsors for the betting segment. So we're trying to ramp it up. Hopefully you'll continue to like the product, but we're here. You know what we do, alldolphins.com. You can find the written word for free. And we appreciate your continued support. Omar, a lot of Omars today.
I know.
What's your opinion on the offensive coaching staff outside of McDaniels? Who can complain about an offensive coaching staff that's like on pace to have the best offense in NFL history, like by wide margins?
And the big question is, who exactly contributes what? How much of the scheme, is not McDaniel?
It's a collective thing. It's a collective.
Well, that's what they're going to tell us.
No, it's true. It's true. You don't believe it? Like, some guys are responsible for third down. Some guys are responsible for red zone. Some guys are responsible for big play production. Some guys are responsible for the first 25. They don't do 20. They do 25 scripted plays. Some guys are responsible for hurry up. And they all sit down and they meet Mike McDaniel. Like, I've been trying to get to the root of how this offense is built the way that it is and how they're looking and how they've been as efficient as they've been, and the growth process. So in the quarterback, he's like, he's got a power and autonomy, and he's like, I like that, I don't like that, change this route, do this. And there's no big ego. Mike McDaniel's like, all right, bro, whatever you say, boss man, to Tua. And man, and there's what I love about this, what I absolutely love about what the Dolphins have done is there is no ego. It's like, show me where the ego is. And you've covered NFL teams for a long time. How often has ego gotten in the way of success?
Correct, it does. And even among the players, and to me, one of the best things I've seen, to me, like two scenes from the couple past weeks really illustrate what we're talking about, or the point I'm making right now, is Raheem Mostert going nuts when Devon Achane has a long touchdown. I mean, one of the first guys to run into the end zone, like it was almost like he had scored. And then the flip side, you have a Tennessee wide receiver who muffs a punt. And you said you didn't watch any Baltimore games. Near the end of the first half, muffs a punt at the 5-yard line with 3 seconds left in the first half.
I saw that.
Okay, you saw that. And then he goes to the bench. As he prepares to sit down, DeAndre Hopkins basically gets up and walks in the other direction. I mean, holy smokes. Can you be a worse teammate possible? I mean, Jesus.
I don't like the fact
there is no defending that. If you don't want to
you don't know if that's exactly why he got up. He didn't look at the guy and be like, I ain't sitting here. He just immediately got up.
As the guys proceeding to sit down. If that's not the image he was projecting, if it was pure coincidence, I apologize to DeAndre Hopkins. From where I sat, it looked like the worst garbage teammate move I've seen in a long time. Like, get away. I mean, I'm getting away from you. You're a scrub. I mean, wow, was that bad? Mike Best, thank you. The problem is any praise of Tua is just dismissed as Tua on, but it isn't that it's just the fact that we have fans that have watched QBs for the last 30 years and haven't seen one this good since Marino. Praise of Tua is not dismissed as Tua on. Praise over the top praise of Tua is sometimes will be dismissed as, not even dismissed, will be either questioned or downplayed because of Tua on. There's been plenty of praise of Tua and he deserves it. And absolutely, Dolphin fans should be ecstatic about the QB play they're getting, because this ain't happened since, like you mentioned, Marino, who retired in 1999 and who wasn't necessarily the same guy in his last 4 or 5 years because his knees were completely shot.
So Mark says, Mark, who is actually building the infrastructure, he says he did look at him. I didn't.
That's even worse because I remember watching it and thinking, shaking my head, thinking, "Oh my Lord, that nobody's going to want to trade for that jerk. What a horrible move."
No, Poop, do you feel like you're babysitting Omar?
Yes, Bruce, absolutely, without question. And it's quite the job here. I got to put this one here because it's come up before. Jonathan, wish we could get Patrick Surtain Jr., or it's Patrick Surtain too, by the way. Why would the Broncos want to trade him? I know they're cleaning house and all that. What they want is to get draft picks to get good young players. They have a good young player in Patrick Surtain. There's zero reason for them to trade him. I think they're going to trade a lot of guys. To me,
he's not going to be one of them.
No, unless you're going to throw 3 first-round draft picks at him, which makes zero sense.
Nah. What's how about?
Oh, I like this one here. Oh, my buddy Jeff, the script for tonight or tomorrow night, you mean, right? 100% what happened when Marino played the 85 Bears. Please explain it to the people older game than I am, Omar. LOL. Omar, do you have any idea what he's talking about, the 85
Not
game?
a clue.
Okay, well, it's actually kind of semi-different circumstances. The Chicago Bears in 85, who had the 46 defense, which was a massive, you would have loved that defense. It was all-out blitzing like crazy.
I did love that defense. I do remember.
Okay. They were, I want to say 13-0 maybe when they came to the Orange Bowl for December 2nd game, 11-0, 12-0. I don't remember exactly. Monday night game at the Orange Bowl, and the Dolphins just went 3 wide receivers on them, got rid of the ball quickly, got up to 31-10 halftime lead, 138-24. I don't know. It's kind of apples and oranges to me because the 23 Eagles are not the 85 Bears. The 85 Bears were a historically good team. If you look at their playoff run, that was a 23-0, 24-0, and 46-10. It was completely crazy. And the sad part about that season is we were all set for a rematch in the Super Bowl, except the Dolphins lost at home in the 1985 AFC Championship game against the New England Patriots, 31-14.
Okay. OG Highway. I'm a big fan of this guy. I love his tweets. Is on lack of INTs due to system, players, or something else?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the easy answer, right? Here's the other thing too is forget like a lack of INTs. They haven't come close. It's not like they've been like a couple. He almost missed a pick. They haven't come close. But that's a result of playing that shell coverage where everything's in front of them. Mm-hmm. There haven't been that ton of like really high risk
and everything in front of you, but then you don't have the pass rushers to get pressure immediately to force quarterback to throw the ball quickly.
There you go.
That to me is the root of what the issue is primarily.
And if you remember, the 1X pick is Mac Jones trying to take a shot to Devontae Parker near the goal line, and then X completely bodied him out of bounds basically and made the pick. And the other pick's a deflection at the line of scrimmage with Emmanuel Ogbah getting the deflection from Deshaun Hand against Russell Wilson. But other than that, they have not come close. And again, I think it's more of a product of the system, the fact that it's soft coverage, everything in front of you.
How you feel about Mac 305 offense? I don't know if I think guns are a good idea, but it's huh?
Is Mac a gun?
Yeah, Mac. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a machine gun. And Doug can have me anytime he wants.
What about me? You're going to offer your service like that? What am I, chopped liver? Okay, fine.
No. Just I love Dudley Dude wrong. He does something completely different than what we do, and
he's a dude. I'll give him his prop.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Let's Poop. You clearly believe there are better QBs. Did you do this one?
I did not do that one. Hi, guys.
Let me get my popcorn.
Not Poop. You clearly believe there are better QBs than Tua if all things are equal, so we can understand your opinion and what makes those QBs better than Tua and able to run any system in your mind. Well, I hate to break it to you, Marcus, but there are quarterbacks who are more physically gifted than Tua, who's not particularly quick or fast in the pocket, who lacks the prototypical size, and he doesn't have a big arm. Sorry.
Okay, and they also don't have accuracy, pocket presence, ability to thread the needle.
So basically, you're saying that Tua is the best quarterback in the NFL now?
No, I'm saying that he's up there. He's an elite quarterback, and there's a very short list of guys that I would pick ahead of him right now at this very moment.
Right now, at this very moment, I completely agree with you. But no, but yes, Marcus, I believe there are quarterbacks who are better than Tua. Sorry, but right now there are very few, if any, who are performing at a higher level. I hope that answers your question, and that you don't think any less of me, Marcus. That would hurt my feelings.
Thanks for all the hard work. Santiago says, best Fins podcast, no doubt. I don't know about that, but we're working there.
Excuse me. Santiago said what he said.
Is Uzukama on IR, or if not, is he counting towards the 53? Uzukama is on
NFI.
Not a football injury. He is, I see him every day. He's there, he's training, he's working. Whether or not he'll be back on the 53-man roster, I have absolutely no idea. And as you know, if you follow this team closely enough, they are running out of IR to return spots. It's not something that they have in abundance at this point, especially when Teron Armstead and Devon Achane comes back. They'll have, 3 left? Or 4?
They'll have 3 left. But Santiago, I'll answer your question that Omar's not touching on yet. He does not count against the 53-man roster. If the Dolphins do want to bring him back, he will, even though it's not IR, he's on NFI, but he will count against the 8-player limit or 8-move limit of players designated to return. And as Omar mentioned, the Dolphins already have used 3 of those on Jeff Wilson, Robert Jones, and Jalen Ramsey. Teron Armstead will be 4. Devon Achane will be 5. And then also they'll have 3 left.
All right. Because easy to avoid X. Fewer INTs because it's easier to avoid X. I don't think teams are avoiding X, even though but yeah, I can't tell you. I can't explain to you Vic Fangio's defense. He's just a genius, and I just got to figure it out. Okay.
The problem is you, not him.
Yeah, the problem is me, and the problem is you too, fans.
Actually, though, I will say this. Peter King did a spot on Pro Football Talk, and he was talking about how, in talking to coaches around the league, the expectation from those in the know always would be that wait until the middle of the season, the midway point of the season, when everybody gets completely in tune with what they're doing defensively. That's when it's going to kick in, and you're going to see the genius of the defense.
Okay, if Peter King says it, I'll believe it. I swear to you, people swear by this guy, and I'm just looking at it like, okay.
But then the flip side to that is that somebody made the point, I don't recall who or where, but the point was that Fangio's system worked a lot better previously when teams offensively didn't have the patience to do long drives, with short gains and work their way down the field, where they wanted to chuck it down the field. And this is where Fangio's defense would take advantage of it.
Yes. And I think the fact that you're probably going to be trailing most of the times against Miami, with a few exceptions, kind of leads this to be the perfect defense for them. However, I don't like it. I've never been shy about saying I don't like it, but I know I'm not the only one. So
I don't like it either. I'm an all attack kind of guy. I love the Brian Flores scheme in 2020. I absolutely loved it.
David Dudley, thanks for all you two do. Do not only keep it real and interesting, but you have a great insight. Thank you. We appreciate that, and we hope to continue to give you great insight. Did you like? We said no Mac Fins. There was a name that I did have some curiosity on.
You have to attack that one, Omar. Go ahead and read it.
Okay.
Fair and balanced coverage.
Unless you want to win, want to week 1 a big game. Tua hasn't played well or won a big game in the NFL yet. Mm-hmm. I believe he can and will, but got to see it first. That's fair and valid. We were discussing this on our 4-day battle that just raged on and on and on and on and on and on. Started
in the media room, yeah.
In the media, it started as a group chat on Monday. Literally, we got coordinators coming in on Thursday. In the middle of the coordinators coming in, we're sitting there still arguing. We're like, "Hey, wait a minute, give us a second here. Let's finish this point." It's continue, and I will acknowledge that Tua has not won a big game. I will. He hasn't won diddly squat. Not a big game. And
if we, again, because the signature wins he's had have come early in the season, like week 2 at Baltimore last year, the week 1 against the Chargers this year. That's week 1 and week 2. But he is lacking a signature win.
He doesn't have a signature win. I'll acknowledge it. It's true. It's fair.
Okay. And one here. Sorry, go ahead. And what you were gonna say something else on your point?
No, I don't have anything else to say.
Okay.
Chris Perkins and Poupard backed me into a corner on that one, and I graciously held up the white flag and waved it. Tua has not won a big game, and I don't expect them to beat the Eagles. Just bad matchups.
And I have my prediction up on alldolphins.com again in the comprehensive game preview. And maybe my prediction will surprise you. I would encourage you to check it out. Dana wants to do more behind enemy. You mean more than once a week?
You propose what you're thinking, Dana, in the comments of this, and we'll look at it and analyze it.
And also understand that not everybody is willing to come and join us because everybody has their own things they got to take care of. And Tuesday's a day where a lot of people do a lot of other radio spots and all of that.
But Tom Curran will be back on Tuesday.
If that's not the best Tevas of all time. Guys, by the way, if you don't remember Tom Curran, you may want to look back at the behind enemy lines before the Dolphins played the Pats in week 2.
It was a thing of beauty. And he will be back and he will defend himself against 2-9.
We should do it. We should do it live and have reader comments, and he should be.
Oh my God, you know what? We might need to do that one live. That's going to be a classic right there.
I'm going to put that up just because it's so insanely rude, but you're entitled to your opinion. A lot of Omars and no poops. Okay, awesome.
What? I don't understand that.
Rude. I don't understand it. It comes across as extraordinarily rude, but you're entitled to your opinion.
The Miami Express. How do you feel about that? It's very generic, though.
It's also very close to the Liam Express or the Eichenberg Express.
Nice. Hey, everybody, I got to go because my toddler's still not asleep.
Yep, same here. And I got to go do some stuff with my family as well. So
enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your college football. Enjoy your ride on the Eichenberg Express. I think that is the best strategy for this team. Do not play Connor Williams because I feel like you're going to lose Connor Williams if you play him on Sunday.
Do not play him if he's not completely.
Do not play him.
I agree. Programming note, Omar, are we set on tomorrow right after the game ends?
Right after the game ends. I am all yours. I belong to you right after the game ends.
You talking to the fans or you talking to me?
It's me and you. Okay. Who you think?
The viewers. I know you're talking about the viewers. You're not talking about me because you take me for granted, Omar. On that,
I was really talking to you, babe.
No, that's a little too much the other way. On that note, thanks everyone.
By the way, hold on. I'll be part of the WQAM pregame show. We're 4 hours before the game starts. I don't know what time that is. Probably 4:00. I got to do some production work for that now. I love you. Appreciate you. And you can find all our work on alldolphins.com. Go look.
We already have 2 stories up today. A couple more coming, including the moves where we expect Jeff Wilson Jr. to be activated to.
He tells me coming soon.
The 53-man roster and the practice squad elevation. So be on the lookout for it. Alldolphins.com, everything for free. Again, we thank you so much, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow night after the game.
See you.